This clip is part of the CycloZeal Library and is shared for educational purposes only.
All right, let's be honest. If you're a cyclist who's serious about getting faster, maybe you're chasing a PR or training for a big race, there is one question that just kind of nags at you on pretty much every single ride. And it seems like such a simple question, right? But the answer, well, it's way more interesting than you'd think. In fact, what if I told you that the entire way you think about your gears is probably wrong? This right here, this is the secret sauce. It's not about speed, it's about managing your effort. So let's just forget about going faster for a minute. The real key, the thing that will unlock your potential, is learning how to manage your effort, how to be efficient. And every bit of it, starts with your gears. All right, so let's get into it. To master your effort, you gotta speak the language of gears. And the very first word you need to know? Gear ratio. So what is a gear ratio? Well, think of it like this. It's just a number, but it's a really important number that tells you exactly how far your bike moves forward every time you make one full circle with your pedals. It's kind of like the hidden code that explains why one gear feels like you're pedaling through wet cement and another feels like you're flying.
Okay, so how do we actually find that magic number? Now, don't panic. You are not going to need a calculator for this, I promise. The idea behind the math is what's important here, and it's actually pretty simple when you break it down.
So here's the formula. All it is the number of teeth on your front chainring divided by the number of teeth on that little cog in the back. Then you just multiply that by your wheel's diameter. That's it. This simple little equation is what turns your gear choice into actual distance covered on the road.
Okay, let's make this super practical. Let's say you're on a typical road bike. You're in that big 50-tooth chainring up front, and you've shifted to a 15-tooth cog in the back. So you just do the math. 50 divided by 15 times your wheel diameter, and boom, you get a gear ratio of 90. But what on earth does 90 even mean?
It's actually really straightforward. That 90 means that for every single time your pedals go all the way around, just once, your bike rolls forward 90 inches. So yeah, a bigger number means you travel further. But, and this is a big but, that's not always what you want.
All right, enough with the numbers. Let's talk about what this stuff actually feels like on the bike. You know, when you're out there, your legs are screaming, and you're trying to put down some power. So you've got your high gear, what we all call a hard gear. Yeah, it pushes you a lot further with every pedal stroke, but man, it takes a ton of muscle. It's literally like doing a leg press with every revolution. Then you have your low gear, your easy gear. It's the total opposite. You don't go as far, but it's way easier to spin the pedals. And this is probably the most important takeaway. The goal is never to just be in the hardest gear you can possibly push. No. The goal is to be in the smartest gear, the one that lets you pedal smoothly and efficiently, the one that saves your knees, and the one that's just right for whatever you're doing, whether that's grinding up a climb or battling a nasty headwind. So, if the perfect gear is constantly changing depending on the situation, what's the one thing we should actually be paying attention to? Well, this is it. This is the big aha moment, the real key to cycling efficiency.
It's all about cadence.
Yep, that's the one.
Cadence is simply how fast you're spinning your pedals, and we measure it in revolutions per minute, or RPM. This number right here is the true indicator of how efficient you are. It's got nothing to do with what gear you're in, and everything to do with the rhythm, the tempo that you can hold.
And there's a ton of science to back this up. For most of us, that sweet spot for efficiency is somewhere between 80 and 85 RPM. But then you look at the pros. The guys in the Tour de France, they're on another planet. They're consistently spinning at 90, 100, even higher RPMs. It's incredible.
So why is that? Why is spinning faster so much better? Well, it's because you're fundamentally changing how your body works. Instead of relying on brute muscular force, which gets tired fast, you shift the load to your cardiovascular system, your aerobic engine, and that system can go for hours. The result? Way less stress on your knees, your endurance goes through the roof, and you can ride stronger for way longer.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually use this on your very next ride? Well, I've got a super simple trick for you, and you don't need a fancy bike computer or anything.
It's just a quick 10-second check. While you're pedaling, pick one leg, say your right leg, and count how many times your knee comes to the top of the pedal stroke in 10 seconds. Got that number? Okay, now just multiply it by 6. And that's your RPM. So if you count 14 pedal strokes, multiply by 6, you're right at 84 RPM. See? Super easy.
And that's really what this all comes down to. The whole quest for the perfect gear, it was a trick question.
There isn't one. The real goal is to find your perfect rhythm, your ideal cadence. And then you just use your gears as the tool to help you keep that rhythm no matter what the road throws at you.
In the next video, we'll cover how to shift gears correctly, including practical do's and don'ts for real-world riding.